Hi there, welcome to the Ballard High School course registration overview for the 2021-2022 school year. This video is mostly geared to current Seattle Public Schools 8th graders who are coming to Ballard for next school year and other new students enrolling from out of district for the 2021-2022 school year. On this slide, we give a brief overview of what this presentation will go over. We'll start with completing the course planning worksheet and how to do that, a brief overview of the credit requirements for high school graduation at Ballard, off-campus programs specifically for grades 11 and 12. Then we'll go over some core course sequences, such as what students take in 9th grade for language arts and 10th grade for language arts, etc. Some new courses for the 2021-2022 school year, and then finally making your plan and actually registering for courses for next year. This slide is just an overview of what completing the course selection planning worksheet will look like. We've included a sample of what the form looks like, and this is posted in our fall registration webpage for you to download and complete yourself. Please note the directions are slightly different for current SPS 8th graders and then folks who are transferring in from out of district. This is just a brief overview of the graduation requirements for the class of 2021 and beyond, specifically credit requirements in each subject area. These can also be found in a variety of documents posted on our fall registration page, but this is an overview of what needs to be completed in order to graduate from high school. In addition to the 24 credit requirement, there are other grad requirements for the class of 2021 and beyond. The High School and Beyond plan, which some folks start in the 8th grade year if they were in district at a Seattle Public Schools middle school, but that's something that your high school counselor will work with you on throughout your time at Ballard to complete. A service learning requirement of 60 hours, Washington State history, which is usually met in middle school, and if you're transferring in from out of district, often you've completed it in middle school as well, and a graduation pathway. There's a lot more information about graduation pathways either on our fall registration page, or you can go out to the Seattle Public Schools webpage and there's a lot of information about graduation pathways. For those of you who are transferring into Ballard in either 11th or 12th grade, you have the option to potentially do Running Start. Running Start is when a high school student takes two-year college classes at one of the local two-year colleges like North Seattle College or Shoreline College. This is something that you would need to communicate with one of the Ballard High School counselors about, and you could reach out to them if that was something you were interested in doing. Another program available for grades 11 and 12 only is the Seattle Public Schools Skills Center, where students earn typically CTE credit and take some of their classes through the Skills Center, so it's off campus, and some of their classes at Ballard. Typically their core classes like language arts, history, and math at Ballard, and then earn CTE credits through one of the Skills Center programs. These next few slides will give an overview of the four-year progression of most of our core subjects. So this slide shows you a bit about what the progression is for English language arts. For all 9th graders, take Intro to Lit and Composition, 9A, 9B. There is an honors option, and the honors and at-level students are within the same section. For social studies in 9th grade, all 9th graders take World History 1 and 2, and again, that section is a blended section of honors and at-level students within the same section. and it gives a brief overview of the course progression for social studies while at Ballard. There's a 3-year math requirement to graduate from Ballard High School. This is a brief overview of what students typically take or begin to take. Some considerations when choosing your next math course is potentially talking to your current math teacher and thinking about your post-high school plans. If you have questions about which math classes come next after what you're currently taking, this is our math course progression chart. And go ahead and find whatever you're currently taking and then go ahead and follow the arrows to what might be available to you next. It's also just a great overview of what math classes we offer and what you would need to take in order to access the next course in the progression. 3 credits of science are required to graduate from high school. Typically, 9th graders start in a year of biology, followed by a Phys A, Chem A in 10th grade, and then you will have more option for choice by 11th grade. Some considerations again are what are your post-high school plans, and we also in the next slide will have a science course progression chart so you'll know most of what we offer by looking at that. As I mentioned before, most 9th graders take biology. Then in 10th grade, they will take Phys A, Chem A, and then by the 11th grade year, students have a lot more option as far as what science course they can take. And just note some of the science courses have a different prerequisite. So by the time you get to be a junior, it's important to look at what courses might be required in order to reach those upper level AP sciences. Some of you will be coming to Ballard High School having already taken a world language or begun a world language. You probably need to decide if you want to continue in that same world language, or if you haven't taken one, maybe you decide that you want to start taking one. That would be another course selection for you. Another thing to think about is how do I plan on meeting my grad requirements in elective areas? Many 9th graders take a semester of PE and a semester of health their 9th grade year, but you don't have to do that. So we direct folks to a few documents on the fall registration page that give you some good ideas of what electives might be a good fit, especially for 9th graders, but also for transfer students. This is just a quick list of some of the new courses that we're offering at Ballard High School next year. We have a new semester course titled Anti-Racism and Civic Engagement. We have several new math courses, Business Math 130 and Math 107. Those two are specifically for upperclassmen. We have a French 4 class and a semester business management class. All of these classes will be listed in our BHS course catalog with more in-depth descriptions and whether or not it would be something you'd be interested in pursuing. When you start thinking about choosing your classes for next year, we wanted to point out a few considerations that would be important to think about. This past year has been unique and challenging for most of us. Re-entry to a normal school day after over a year of remote school, potentially, will be a big adjustment. Some of you have outside of school commitments like jobs or sports or clubs that you like to do. For those of you transferring in going to be seniors, you might be doing college applications or other prep for post-high school planning. And also just be thinking about homework time. If you sign up for all honors courses, is that going to be too much? Should you choose just the honors course in the subject that you're most interested in? It's time to start doing a little research and thinking about what you want to take for next year. Our master schedule is built based on the requests that you complete in these next few weeks. So be sure to review the course catalog, look at all the course descriptions, and think if the course fits something with your goals or your interests. Sometimes you could talk to your current teachers if it's a course you're not quite sure about, and be thinking about your after-school responsibilities and not taking on too much. So after you do a bit of research on your own, the next step would be beginning to complete the course selection planning worksheet that we talked about earlier in the video. And for current SPS students only, those of you in 8th grade coming from a Seattle Public Schools middle school, you will be submitting your course requests online via your student source account. This slide is only for current SPS 8th graders. You guys have access to the source, which is where you will submit your course request for next year. Students who are transferring in from out of district do not have access to the source, so they will be submitting their courses just through an email of their course selection worksheets to a counselor at Ballard. But for current SPS 8th graders who do have access to the source, you will need to submit your course requests online via your student source account. There are very clear directions posted to the fall registration webpage under your registration tab. If you have any questions at all, please email me, Ballard High School Counselor Katie Huguenin. My email address is here, or leave a voicemail for our counseling secretary, Carol Bristol. If after reviewing all the information on the webpage you still have questions, you are welcome to sign up for a small group registration info session for new students with me on the counseling schedule link, which is located on the fall registration page. These will be drop-in sessions and multiple families. I will be hosting multiple families within the same session.